Good morning, Kuhner country. Okay, my friends, very dramatic developments yesterday, and literally now they have thrown down the gauntlet. So here is now what is taking place. Yesterday, essentially at high noon, was the deadline that Attorney General Pam Bondi, along with President Donald Trump, issued to over 30 sanctuary jurisdictions, blue cities, states like California, Illinois, the state of Washington, huge cities, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, and of course here in the city of Boston. End your sanctuary policies. Stop shielding and coddling criminal illegal aliens. Finally comply with federal immigration law, or else, as Bondi wrote in a letter to all of these leaders and said publicly, repeatedly in multiple media interviews, we will cut all federal funding and we will start prosecuting mayors and governors. We will issue criminal charges for aiding and abetting criminal illegal aliens. Yesterday, the deadline came, the deadline went. The governor of Washington State told Attorney General Pam Bondi to go fly a kite. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, same thing. Go pound sand. It went right down the list. Mayor Eric Adams in New York, get lost. Brandon Johnson in Chicago, get lost. The mayor of Philadelphia, get lost. But the one now that has emerged as the leader, the most outspoken, the most publicly defiant, is here in Boston, Marxist Michelle Wu. Now, let me just state this right out of the gate, okay? Because this needs to be said. As I said on X yesterday, and I want to repeat it right now, after yesterday's speech, I know it's her policies over the last 4 years, but after yesterday's speech, we are being run by a communist lunatic. I know it's her policies, and I've talked about her policies for the last 4 years. But what came out of her mouth yesterday, it was pure insanity. This woman, and I'm choosing my words now very carefully, is stone cold crazy. And if you can just paint the scene, it's like that infamous bar scene in the Star Wars movie. It was a freak show. I'm not kidding. It was a clown show. She had labor union leaders up there. There, of course, was Senator Ed Markey, Ice Cream Ed. I guess somebody had to give out ice cream cones to the people who attended. That clown showed up. They even started it off, I swear to you, with a mariachi band. A mariachi band. You want to talk about a racist stereotype of illegal aliens? They came out, the guy with the Mexican hat, the whole thing. So he's playing music in Spanish to a crowd, many of whom had no clue what this guy was singing. And then came Marxist Michelle. Okay? Mariachi Michelle. Michelle Wu then spoke. And here is what she said. And you tell me if this woman, is now not totally and utterly insane. Listen now to Mayor Marxist Michelle giving a speech right across from, right near next to Faneuil Hall at City Hall, and she invoked the American Revolution in her defense of illegal aliens, in her defense of criminal illegals, in her defense of sanctuary policies, in defense of Boston being a quote-unquote sanctuary city. Roll cut 5. Mike.
We're here again today because last week, Boston received a letter from the Attorney General of the United States on official letterhead from the federal government threatening to prosecute city officials and withhold federal funds unless we cooperate with carrying out mass deportations. At a time when this federal administration is already causing so much fear and harm in our communities, these threats are serious and consequential. But our same communities have told me, loud and clear, that silence in the face of oppression is not an option.
ICE rounding up, detaining, and deporting, I'm not kidding, child sex predators. That's what they've been arresting in Boston. Murderers, rapists, and gangbangers. That's quote-unquote oppression? We will stand up to oppression? According to this, this woman's lunatic. She's crazy. This woman is I got to be careful here. She's a freaking lunatic. That we will not cooperate with mass deportations of criminal illegal aliens? Violent criminal illegal aliens? But she wasn't done. She wasn't done. Listen now to her saying to Pam Bondi, you sent me the letter. You gave me the deadline. You told me, it was yesterday. You told me I had to comply. And if not, you will cut federal funding and you are threatening to arrest me and my top officials. Okay? Criminal charges against me. Here's our answer to you. And it's basically the middle finger. Roll cut 5A. Mike.
Here is our response. Stop attacking our cities to hide your administration's failures. Unlike the Trump administration, Boston follows the law. And Boston will not back down from who we are and what we stand for. We will not back away from our community that has made us the safest major city in the country and a leading example of why cities around the country make this country safer, healthier, and more prosperous for all Americans.
Sanctuary cities now, sanctuary cities forever. That's now what she's saying. What she's saying is, come and get me. Okay? She's saying, I'm daring Pam Bondi. She's daring her. Come and arrest me. I'm daring you. Put me in handcuffs. I'm daring you. Cut federal funding. Why is she now saying this? Because according to her and the lunatics in that crowd, she now is akin to George Washington. She's not Michelle Wu. No. She's Michelle Washington Wu. According to her, the reason why the Patriots of 1776 fought to end British tyranny and fight our war for independence was to defend and shield illegal aliens and criminals. This is news to me. That's why you may think it was, for our rights, our God-given rights, and against British usurpations and British oppression. No, from King George III. No. They fought the revolution for illegals. And she's now the new George Washington, fighting the new King George III, Donald J. Trump. Roll cut 4A. Mike. All right, so we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Here's what she said. This has always been a city of revolution, of innovation, of standing up for the public good and never bowing down to tyranny.
This has always been a city of revolution, of innovation, of standing up for the public good and never bowing down to tyranny. only today, our fellow public servants and veterans, public safety and faith leaders, civil rights advocates and labor union members, teachers and business owners, entrepreneurs and artists, youth and seniors. This is our city. This is our country. And I'm so proud and grateful to show the world who our community is here in Boston and what we're made of.
Arrest her ass. I'm telling you, she's a lunatic. She's a lunatic. As I said on X, I'm going to repeat it again. This city is now being run by a communist lunatic. Arrest her ass. Okay, here it is. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. People think, come on, Jeff, you have to be exaggerating for dramatic effect. No. I wish I was. They brought out a mariachi band before she delivers her insane speech, which isn't just openly defying federal immigration law. She's literally campaigning on behalf of criminals. She's up for re-election and she's saying, no, I will defend criminals. But that's her campaign slogan. I will defend criminals. Boston is a city for illegal aliens. It is a city for criminals. And we will defend you to the end. They bring out a band singing in Spanish with the Mexican, whatever, the Mexican hat, the big, sort of like the sombrero. They have the Mexican sombrero. And this is what they played. And the crowd, the idiots in the crowd are cheering. So listen now. This is the mariachi band serenading the crowd at Michelle Wu's City Hall speech yesterday. Roll cut 6, a mic.
Pastorea de vuelta, pues el sol se está ocultando, va subiendo por la cuesta.
Mike, please stop. My ears are bleeding. I swear. Oh my God. It's like nails on a chalkboard. So you've got mariachi Michelle now. So I guess maybe she's Spanish too? Now, the clear implication, I'm telling you, this is racist. This is nakedly racist. What she's saying is all illegals are Spanish or Spanish speaking or, whatever, basically from Central and Latin America, which is not true. If she would walk around her own city, you know how many illegals are from Haiti? Do you know how many illegals are from Ukraine? Who, by the way, are whiter than I am? Do you know how many illegals there are from China? Do you know how many illegals there are from Asia? Do you know how many illegals there are from Africa? Do you know how many illegals there are from the Middle East? And these idiots are walking around with a mariachi band? Now, the reason why, she's a stone-cold anti-white racist. Okay, this is the one who sends out invitation letters to Christmas parties telling whites not allowed. Only for minorities, non-whites. So she's clearly an anti-white racist. But she's also fishing for votes. She's got Josh Kraft to deal with. Her record is abysmal. In fact, in any normal, sane society, you would chase someone like her out of public office. Okay? You'd run her out on a rail, as they say. I could go on and on. The statistics for Boston, and I'll get to them later in the show, they're like Chicago, they're like New York, they're like Atlanta, they're like Los Angeles, they're like Philadelphia, they're like all of these other sanctuary cities that are now defying Pam Bondi and the Trump administration. They're in the toilet. But she's thinking, wink, wink. She's telling illegals, and she thinks most of the illegals in the city are Spanish-speaking. No comprende, no pable anglais. They don't speak English. Wink, wink. If I need some extra votes, can I count on you? If I need some extra support on voting day or in the build up to voting day, can I count on you? I mean, this woman is disgusting. Now, on top of all of this, okay, it's racist, It's offensive. Everything what she said yesterday was utterly either illegal or irrelevant. She is openly defying federal law. There is no discussion. There's no debate. And what she's saying is, no, we are not going to obey and comply with federal immigration law. And Pam Bondi, you can threaten us. You can threaten me with jail, with charges. You can say cut off federal funding. I don't care. I'm daring you. And here are my supporters, all of my hacks that I've surrounded myself with, and they're standing by me. So what are you going to do about it? It's very reminiscent of the segregationists, the Democrats, who were segregationists in the Old South under Jim Crow. No, we are not going to desegregate. No, we're not going to integrate. Segregation yesterday, segregation today, segregation tomorrow. Michelle Wu is just updating it now for the 21st century. Sanctuary city yesterday, sanctuary city today, sanctuary city tomorrow. That's all. That's what she's saying. That she would wrap herself in the mantle, in the flag of the Patriots of 1776 and literally invoke the American Revolution as she did yesterday, saying just like the Patriots of 1776 will not bow the knee, will not bow down to tyranny, to the British oppressive king, we will not bow down to this oppressive regime in Washington. You think you're walking in the footsteps of George Washington? This woman is crazy. Like, I'm not like really like the marbles. I mean, seriously, she's lost her marbles. So we fought the revolution for criminals and gangbangers and illegal aliens? Now, if no one else has the guts to say it, I'm going to say it. Michelle Wu is an open supporter of Chinese-style communism. She is a Maoist. And this is part of what the communists do. They destroy our past, they pervert our past in order to implement their so-called communist utopia, which really is, as I pointed out on X yesterday, the only tyrant is her. The only dictator is her. Don't talk to me about, Donald Trump being oppressive. Who's the one that pushed the draconian vaccine mandate? She did. Who pushed the illegal mask mandates? She did. Who pushed the massive, who shut down all the schools? Who shut down all the businesses? She did. Who imposed the authoritarian lockdowns? She did. Who engaged in the greatest violation of civil liberties in the history of Boston? In the history of Boston. She did. And you're going to lecture us that you're fighting for the principles of 1776? So we didn't just fight the Civil War now for illegals. Now we fought the American Revolution for illegals? Get her out of City Hall. Get her out of City Hall. 617-266-6868 is the number. Mike, you're playing AC/DC now, Mike? Like, are you kidding me? Play me some of that mariachi music. Play me some of that music they played yesterday for Michelle Wu to warm up the crowd before her speech. Roll cut 6, Mike.
Pastoreaba de vuelta, pues el sol se está ocultando.
That's what they like, Mike.
Por la cuesta
Oh, yeah. Hey, come on now. It's Mariachi Michelle. I mean, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry, so I might as well just laugh. Okay, let me ask all of you, I swear. God help us. Listen to me. Boston's going down. Boston is going down like San Francisco, like Chicago, like LA, like New York. I can get into the statistics, and I will soon. But this is a dying city. And a key reason is the disastrous leadership of this left-wing lunatic that is now running City Hall. And yesterday's speech confirmed it. I mean, her policies are insane, don't get me wrong. But to say what she said, to be so proud, forgive me, and so brazen in breaking the law, in coddling criminals, in openly defending illegal aliens, and in literally daring the Attorney General, not just in a letter. She wrote a letter back. Michelle Wu just wrote a letter. It wasn't just a speech. She said, come and arrest me. I dare you. She publicly said yesterday, come and get me. I dare you. Cut our federal funding. I dare you. And you've got an Attorney General. Again, I'm sorry. I have to call it the way I see it. I see her on Fox. Now she's also on Fox Business. And she talks a big game. She just did it again last week. And frankly, she singled out these sanctuary city mayors by name. She singled out that clown that runs Chicago. She singled out the mayor of Philadelphia. She singled out the mayor of San Francisco. They didn't just get a letter from her saying, yesterday was the deadline. And she certainly singled out, mariachi Michelle. She singled, Marxist Michelle. She told Michelle Wu, you've got 1 week. If not, we're coming for you. And Michelle Wu basically came out and said, here's my answer. Mwah, kiss it with the middle finger. Here's the middle finger. Mwah, here it is. Again, what are you going to do? Now, let me just tell you, Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, her right-hand man, her number 2, was asked point blank. In fact, I believe it was Laura Ingraham who asked him the question. And she said, look, I'm sorry, but they gave you the rhetorical middle finger. I think she even said that phrase. What are you guys going to do? You know what Todd Blanche's answer was? We're going to go to court. We're going to sue her. Another meaningless lawsuit? That's your answer? That's your answer? She's pathetic. Michelle Wu is unhinged. She's nuts. But this is not, come on. Are you an attorney general or are you not an attorney general? Do your deadlines matter? Do they not matter? Do your threats matter or do they not matter? Does the law matter or does it not matter? Now, I want to ask you, because I want to go to the phone lines. 2 questions. Number 1, should Michelle Wu be arrested? Should Mariachi Michelle, especially now after yesterday, should she be arrested? I say yes. What the hell are you waiting for? But that's me. I want to hear from you. Should Boston and all of these other sanctuary cities, she put 30 of them on notice in that infamous letter of hers. Yesterday was the deadline. So we're talking San Francisco, we're talking LA, we're talking Atlanta, we're talking Baltimore, we're talking Philadelphia, we're talking New York, we're talking Chicago, we're talking Portland, we're talking Seattle. Okay, there's 30 of them. And there are 3 states that she's targeting. California, the whole state, Illinois, the whole state, Washington State, the whole state. Should they lose their federal funding? I say yes. And then I want to ask you maybe the ultimate question. Will Pam Bondi do anything? Not, again, I'm asking you should, but I'm also asking you will. Does Pam Bondi have what it takes to start cutting off federal funds, let them pay an economic price for their illegal criminal behavior, and does she have the guts to start pressing charges and put people in handcuffs? 617-266-6868 is the number. This is from Mark on Messenger. Jeff, in fact, good morning, Kuhner man. Thank you, Mark. Good morning to you. Homan, Pam Bondi should call Mayor Wu's bluff and go into Boston and all the other cities that are defying and breaking the law and start making arrests. It's blatant obstruction of justice. Wu is a downright communist and a racist and an insane, patronizing, phony POS and has no idea what the hell she's doing or talking about. But Boston should be the first city to be made an example of. But I'm tired of deadlines passing and nothing being done. Great. I mean, Mark, great message. I could not agree with you more. Honestly, I thought maybe Chicago, maybe LA, Karen Bass, she's a real whack job as well. By the way, another communist, a full-fledged communist. I thought maybe you should arrest them first. After yesterday's speech, no. It's Michelle Wu. No question. She's begging for it. Give her what she wants. 617-266-6868. Agree, disagree. Harry in Woburn. You're going to kick us off, Harry. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. Long-time listener. Ever called before.
Welcome, Harry. Welcome.
This is more, pardon the expression, Bondi, Bravo, Sierra. The same way they swept out, nobody's talking about the Epstein files anymore. Nobody's talking about the stuff that they still keep sweeping under the rug. How come? They were supposed to arrest these people a long time ago. Why are they dragging their feet? Hello?
Harry, I'm listening to every word you're saying, my friend. Let me ask you, why do you think, I like that, BS Bondi. Why do you think BS Bondi is dragging her feet? I mean, seriously, what's your theory, Harry?
Well, it's the same way with the Epstein files. Either they're compromised or they themselves or their family are being threatened. Now, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I know a couple of your other callers. I don't want to mention them. But there's so many examples. Now, is Judge Napolitano right? Is Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson right? I mean, I'm sure that a lot of your other callers feel the same way. And I'd like to hear your opinion, especially about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Have you ever listened to them?
I mean, Harry, I don't want to get sidetracked on Tucker and Candace. I mean, I'm happy to discuss them in the future, but I want to stick to Mayor Michelle Wu. Look, I think Pam Bondi, to be frank, is out of her league. I think she's out of her depth. She's not AG material. And I think, again, this is being shown right now. 617-266-6868 is the number. 650 here on the great WRKO. Okay, very, very quickly. Listen now to Mariachi Michelle at her, really, it was a disgusting City Hall speech, daring Pam Bondi, saying, come and get me, arrest me, charge me, cut federal funding, go ahead, I dare you. Roll cut 5B. Mike.
To all the federal officials attacking communities that embody diversity, creativity, and moral clarity, we mayors said this in D.C. nearly 6 months ago, and I'll say it again today. You are wrong on the law, and you are wrong on safety. Most of all, you are wrong on cities. The cities that live in your minds are totally foreign to the residents living in our cities. And we are picking up the pieces of your failures to deliver on your promises.
Yeah, the only thing missing was the ashes on the forehead. Do you remember that? What was that for Ash Wednesday when she had to testify in front of Congress on why she defends all these illegal aliens and criminals? And she brought her baby, but holding the baby, and then she had the ashes in the shape of a cross on Ash Wednesday on her forehead. At least she didn't roll out the ashes yesterday. Look, everything she says is irrelevant. It doesn't matter how diverse a city is. Doesn't matter how creative, how artistic, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is they love their illegal aliens in Boston, and they love them in Massachusetts, and they love them in blue cities and blue states around the country. And they are now openly not just breaking the law, but they are coddling some of the most violent, dangerous criminals on the planet. I mean, that's not a debate. It's a fact. And you have these idiots that are cheering her on, not just in the media, but her supporters. So, you know, what she has done, look, let me lay it out in one sentence. She has turned Boston into a third world hellhole. And if it continues, it's going to be a third world communist hellhole. Have you looked at her re-election platform? I laid it out just a couple shows ago. So she is a Chinese-style communist. There's no question. There's no question. And now, all of a sudden, we fought the American Revolution for open borders and illegal aliens and criminals to invade the United States? In any normal country, in any normal state, in any normal city, she'd be literally laughed off the stage. Someone would, I'm not kidding, put her in a padded cell. No, they love her. The left loves her. The Globe loves her. CNN. This is CNN. They were glowing about her yesterday. MSNBC, sorry, MS Now, as it's now being rebranded. They're like, we found our fighter. They're talking about her running in 2028. You can't make this up. It's now, look, Trump's people are listening. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet. It's time for Pam Bondi to put up or shut up. If you're not going to arrest Michelle Wu, or these other sanctuary city mayors, and if you're not going to cut federal funding, then you know what? Don't make threats, don't issue deadlines, don't write letters, and get the hell off Fox News and Fox Business. Because all she does is yak, 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 threaten, 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 make deadline after deadline, and then nothing happens. So either do the job you were appointed to do, or step aside and let someone else who has the stones to do it take your place. Agree, disagree, 617-266-6868. Dave, our Western PA constitutionalist correspondent, thanks for holding out in the Pittsburgh area. Dave, thanks for holding and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, I got the perfect name for Michelle. Woe is me, Michelle Woo-Woo. How about the bull? I don't want to say the full word. Michelle Vick. Bolshevik from 1917, Jeff. With the comrades, Jeff. Comrade, you know what I mean, Jeff? All these commies coming along. Something like this happened in Russia in 1917, Jeff. You know, with Vladimir Lenin and Leonid Trotsky, my friend. So,
Dave, are you shocked? You're a Marine. You served our country. I know you're originally from the Boston area, obviously. Dave, are you shocked? No, really, that this woman would literally invoke George Washington and the American Revolution to defend her sanctuary policies and illegal aliens? That the patriots of 1776, and she's pointing to Faneuil Hall as she's talking, saying, this is what it was all about. This is why we fought tyranny. It was for the illegals. Dave, what say you?
She's so wrong. I mean, Jeff, I don't like turning left when I'm driving my car. She's so far to the left. She makes Barack Obama look like a Tea Party member, buddy. I hate to say that. But, Jeff, I'm going to tell you straight up. Number one, as a veteran, and all the veterans that call into you, we didn't fight for this malarkey. You know what I mean, Jeff? Because let me tell you something. I've had a lot of family members in the military, too. And, Jeff, we didn't fight for this. You know, just like Russ in Boston or any other veterans that call, and I honor his services, Vietnam, that's a war we should have won, Jeff. We really did win. It's the politicians that lost it. But, Jeff, I'm going to tell you right now, she's nothing but an outright communist. And her mom, Donnie, there's no difference to Brandon Johnson in Chicago, man, to quote my, from Scarface, Tony Montana, Scarface, amigo. But I got one thing to tell all my Spanish friends in Boston. Mucho comunista, Michelle Wu. Mucho, 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 mucho comunista. And you know what I mean, Jeff? I mean,
she's a big-time commie. No, you're right. She's a big-time communist. Look, I have to say this. I just find it incredible, the people in New England in general. They're all talking about Zohran Mamdani. And I'm like, you've already got a Zohran Mamdani. It's Michelle Wu. What's the difference between Mamdani and Wu? There's no difference. You've already got a Mamdani in Chicago. That clown, Brandon Johnson. He's a Mamdani. Look what he's done to the city. Look at Karen Bass. She's the Mamdani of the West Coast. She's doing to L.A. what Mamdani is promising to do to New York. And the question, Dave, the question we all have to ask ourselves is, did our men and women fight and die for communism? Because that's what Michelle Wu is saying. That's what Mamdani is saying. That's what AOC is saying. That's what the Democratic Party now, this new communist Democratic Party is now saying. That we're basically now the Soviet Union. Except we have the stars and stripes instead of the hammer and sickle. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't come to America to bend the knee to illegal aliens and criminals. I don't know what planet these people are living on. It was an offensive speech. It was a degrading speech. It was an illegal speech. In the sense, what I mean by illegal was it was promoting illegality and criminality. It was a Marxist, communist, anti-American speech. And it was an inflammatory and incendiary speech. And to me, that the DOJ, that Tom Homan, that the Department of Homeland Security, that they're just going to stand there and take it, I can't believe it. Honestly, I can't believe it. And again, I don't want to talk about Ukraine because we've exhausted that topic. We talked about it extensively. But this goes to the heart of my criticism. Stop spending all of this political capital on places all over the world, faraway places. We've got huge problems here at home. We have a communist insurrection that is taking place in front of our eyes. For everybody out there, and Dave, I know you know this, but I want to reiterate it. We are suffering an invasion. Forget the Russians, forget the Ukrainians. Under Joe Biden, for 4 relentless years, nearly 20 million illegals invaded our country. And now they're in cities and states all over our nation. And the Democrats are preventing them from being deported and kicked out. They're literally siding with the lawbreakers, the criminals, and the invaders. In my book, that's treason. Of course it's treason. So to me, this is the battle that needs to be fought. This is the battle that needs to be won. Or else, I'm telling you, we don't have a country. Now, I know what many say. Well, we'll win the White House again in 2028 and we'll win it again in 2032. I'm not so sure. You can't predict the future. The future is not yours to hold. It's not yours to determine. The Democrats may steal it in 2028. Who knows what's going to happen in 3.5 years? So to me, we've got 3.5 years to undo and repel this invasion and save our country. Every day counts, every minute counts, every second counts. Now, these are Benedict Arnolds. These are Judases. That's what Michelle Wu is. She's a modern day Benedict Arnold. Arrest her ass. She's even saying it. Arrest me. I dare you. She's saying it. So arrest her. What is she so afraid of? Send a message. Sanctuary cities are illegal. They don't exist. I can't claim my house is a sanctuary house. No, I don't pay taxes. Why? I live in a sanctuary house. No, there's no such thing. Well, it's the same thing. There's no such thing as a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city. And it is against the law to aid and abet criminals and lawbreakers. That's what she's doing, proudly, flagrantly, in our face. So, at a bare minimum, at least cut their freaking funding so they feel some economic pain and consequences. But no, you got to start arresting them. And I'm telling you, you put a couple in jail and all this is going to stop. And you're going to start to see millions of illegals now be kicked out. But these barriers of resistance, these barriers of obstruction, and that's what this is, obstruction of justice, they have to be torn down. It's like breaking up the mob. You got to start making arrests or the mob is going to keep surviving generation to generation. Dave, final word to you. Agree, disagree?
I totally agree with you. And another thing, Jeff, I think Tulsi Gabbard, I don't know if she's a practicing lawyer, but I know she's DNI. She'd be a better attorney general than this dumb blondie, Jeff. You know,
I love it. No, I'm telling you, I love it. I mean, I love her at DNI. Don't get me wrong. But you know what? I would say, you know what? If Pam Bondi wants, put her in DNI. Do a swap. Okay? Because pretty much Tulsi Gabbard has released pretty much what we need. So have Pam Bondi run DNI and move Tulsi over to DOJ. Because I'll tell you this, she'll kick their ass. Oh, if this was, let me ask all of you, Dave, you hit the nail right on the head. Let me ask all of you, if this was not Attorney General Bondi, if this was Attorney General Tulsi Gabbard, you think Michelle Wu wouldn't be in handcuffs right now? You don't think these other sanctuary city mayors wouldn't be in handcuffs right now? Gabbard is a veteran. Gabbard is a patriot. Gabbard served in our military. For her, upholding and defending the Constitution of the United States, they're not just words. She means them. She believes them. We need someone with a steel spine as Attorney General. We don't need Pam Bondi. She wants to do TV, let her be a legal analyst on Fox. And especially after you start, publicly making a big show, how you're going to really send a message, and then they slap you in the face. And that's what Michelle Wu did. Let's be very clear. She slapped Bondi and, frankly, Trump in the face. Now, either you respond or you let yourself be humiliated. And I'm telling you, if this goes on for another 3-6 months, who's going to respect the law? I mean, they're openly breaking the law. And they're patting themselves on the back. Dave, great call. 617-266-6868 is the number. Heather in Maine. Thanks for holding, Heather, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff and Kuhner Country. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you, Heather?
I'm great, thank you. So this is all about retaining power and giving us false elections and, skewing the census through all of these illegal immigrants. They're not immigrants. They're just illegals. It's just a way to gerrymander all the districts and keep power. And that's basically what they're just trying to do. I drove through a bridge in Newburyport yesterday, and all these people were holding signs up and, about the king and, all this crazy stuff. There was one sign that said, "We the people." The one next to it said, "Outlaw ICE." And the one next to that said, "Defend democracy." These people are so crazy, and they have no idea what they're doing, Jeff. It's nuts. And yes, she should be arrested, and Pam Bondi should grow some.
Heather, you're completely right, okay? But just to show you how right you are, so everybody understands what Michelle Wu is defying. Okay, this is what Mariachi Michelle is defying. Mm-hmm. What Tom Homan and Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem have asked Michelle Wu and the mayors of New York and Chicago and Philadelphia and LA and Portland and obviously the governor of California, what they're asking them is this. You have convicted violent criminals and felons in your jails. They're in your jails. And we're talking about gangbangers, MS-13, murderers, rapists, literally child molesters, convicted child molesters, convicted drug dealers and sex and human traffickers. They're convicted. They're in the jails. You know what they're asking? We want to go into the jails and then deport them. When their sentences are over, and many of them, every day, some of them, their sentences, they've served their time and now they're going to be released. What they're saying is, just notify us that Joe Blow is going to be released tomorrow or in 48 hours. He is a convicted rapist and illegal alien. We'll let you know, here's 48 hours, come and pick him up in the jail. What Michelle Wu is saying is, we will not allow you to pick them up in the jail. We're not going to allow you to go in there in the jail and pick them up. We are going to release them onto the streets. You want to find them? Good luck. But we're not going to hold them for you. This is what they're fighting for. I'm not kidding. This is what they're protesting for. To allow the worst of the worst, the scum of the scum, convicted scum, to not be held in jail for 24 to 48 hours so ICE can pick them up and then deport their ass. They'd rather release them into the community, illegal aliens, the most dangerous, so they can go after you, Heather, go after me, your family, my family, everybody who's listening, everybody, they're your families. And on top of this, here it is. Here's the spit right in your face, okay? George Washington fought for this. This is the American Revolution, and we don't bow down to tyranny. So, Trump is a king and a dictator. Why? Because after these convicted criminals have served their time in jail, hold them for a day or two so we can then deport them because they're all illegal aliens. Now, Heather, you tell me, does this make sense to you?
Well, you know what? It's law and order that Trump is trying to reestablish. And like I said before, it all goes back to power and the corrupt government that we have, these corrupt politicians. They don't care about us. They just want to retain the power and keep the power in their hands so they can keep lining their pockets the way they do with our tax dollars.
And you know what I find most disgusting, you're completely right, Heather, is the utter lack of regard, the lack of any kind of conscience, the lack of any moral responsibility, any empathy. You know, these illegal alien criminals that they release into the public, they reoffend. They murder again. They rape again. They molest children again. They deal drugs again. They don't self-deport. They stay. And they continue their life of crime. So they're willing to have even more Americans be killed or murdered or raped or have their lives destroyed simply to retain political power. It's beyond disgusting. It's treason. It's, to me, the worst crime anybody can commit. Because you're not just committing these crimes, you're enabling and empowering these crimes to continue to be committed. Heather, great call. Thank you very much for that call. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, let me ask you. Michelle Wu now invokes the American Revolution. 617-266-6868. Okay, Wednesday, it's close to 7:20. You know what that means. Truth or troll, baby. Take it away, Mike.
And now, America's favorite game show, where you get to decide on the Kuhner Report. This is Truth or Troll.
So today's entry for Truth or Troll comes from President Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky in the Oval Office. And when the topic of canceling elections during wartime came up, it got Trump to thinking.
Legal elections.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake.
You like this idea?
No.
So there's the back door right there. Trump 2028. Just going to get us into a war before then.
Well, if it's good enough for Midget Man, if it's good enough for Zelensky, should be good enough for Trump.
So what do you think here, Jeff? Is he just trolling Zelensky here, or could he be serious?
I think he's clearly trolling. I think he's trolling Zelensky. You want to stick it to him, needle him a little bit. He's also trolling the media, stick it to them. No, I think he doesn't want to run in 2028. He can't run in 2028. The Constitution prohibits him from running in 2028. He knows that. And, Mike, he's going to be, what is he going to be, 82 in 2028, almost 83? No, he doesn't want to run again, and he can't run again. So, no, I think he's clearly trolling, but let's ask the audience. Do you think when Trump was going back and forth with Zelensky and the media was there about, oh, well, look at this. So in Ukraine, according to you guys, if you have a war going on, you don't need to call an election. So if in 3.5 years, if I get a war going, you mean that means I don't have to call an election? I could just stay in power? Do you think that Trump was A, trolling, or B, he's serious? He's actually telling the truth. He really wants to stay on for another term. I want to hear from you. A, trolling, B, truth. You can vote on our webpage, wrko.com/Kuhner, wrko.com/Kuhner, KUHN is in national ER. You can also vote via X, and man, was I active on X last night. My handle there, all one word, at the Kuhner Report, KUHN is in national ER. Larry in Leominster. Thanks for holding, Larry, and welcome.
Jeff, I'm upset, Jeff. I don't know what to do. Jeff, every day I go out to that mailbox in vain, and I look for my Christmas party invitation from Mayor Wu. I'm starting to think it's the color of my skin, Jeff. I mean, I am the world's tallest leprechaun, but come on.
No, Larry, it's definitely the color of your skin. Buddy, I think you're the whitest guy I've ever seen. You may be the whitest guy on the planet, my friend. Larry, what do you make of her speech yesterday? What do you make of the fact that the media is rallying around her and that they are they're now saying she's become the face and the voice of the anti-Trump resistance and the opposition to this so-called Trump dictatorship? What say you?
That's the latest flavor of the week, Jeff. So first it was AOC, then Jasmine Crockett. Now it's her. It's just, they've got no consistency. I have a theory, don't know if it's right, don't know if it's wrong, it's a theory, that they're begging to get arrested because of what happened to Trump. Every time they threw Trump in jail, every mugshot, everything, he grew more popular and gained more voters.
Interesting. So, Larry, you're saying, in a way, make me a martyr, right? Is that their strategy? Arrest me, and that will differentiate me from all these other moonbats and Democrats, all these other Democrat politicians, and I will be seen as a martyr. And once I'm seen as a martyr, then that will launch me onto the national stage, correct?
Yeah, it's in a nutshell. And I think Wu is a perfect candidate for arrest. She is a powerful mayor just based on the city she runs, Boston. But she's not like the head executive like Hold It Healy is, the governor. She would make a good starting point, in my opinion. You have the grounds, arrest her, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Larry, let me ask you this. Why do you think Pam Bondi is so reluctant to pull the proverbial trigger?
I think that's the same reason why she's being egged on to do it by Wu. Wu wants to be a martyr. I think in her head, Pam's like, do I really want to make this woman a martyr? In my opinion, she won't, simply for the fact that the majority of the country, I don't care what mainstream media says, they can, bloviate all they want. The majority of the country wants this illegal alien issue solved once and for all. Every time they come out and they scream, we're protecting illegal aliens, some other tragedy happens, like that illegal alien Sikh truck driver down in Florida. Did you?
Oh, that's a sickening story.
Right.
That's a sickening story. Here you are, Larry, just 30 seconds. I promise I'll give you all the time in the world, just if people haven't heard the story. So here is an illegal alien from India who came into California. So this is because of Gavin Newsom's sanctuary state policy. And he's an illegal. He shouldn't be here. But California gives out driver's licenses to illegals like they're candy. And they actually gave this guy not just a regular driver's license, a commercial driver's license, so he can drive a truck. Well, he ends up driving a truck, a big semi-truck in Florida. Now, he doesn't know any English. He doesn't know English. In fact, he couldn't even pass the exam to drive on the road. Apparently, he only knew one road sign. That's it. He didn't know any of the other road signs. So he can't read English. He can't speak English. He doesn't know the laws of the road. He's in Florida. And this was all caught because there was a camera inside his truck. And the guy makes an illegal U-turn. It's one of the most reckless, irresponsible things I've ever seen. And he makes this U-turn and boom, he smashes into a vehicle from the back and 3 American passengers are killed. 617-266-6868 is the number. All right, I want to go right back to Larry in Leominster just very quickly. We have a lot of new listeners that come in at this time, so very quick reset. Michelle Wu yesterday, this is a national story, not just local, not just state. This is a huge national story. The radical left mayor of Boston has now emerged after yesterday's high-profile speech at City Hall, openly defying a letter that was sent out by Attorney General Pam Bondi last week, in which she gave yesterday, I think it was high noon, end of business day, but anyway, it was basically a deadline, where Pam Bondi told over 30 mayors of sanctuary cities, 30 of them, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Denver, Portland, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Atlanta, and of course, Boston, as well as 3 states, California, the whole state, Illinois, the whole state, Washington State, the whole state. Your sanctuary policies are illegal. They're dangerous. You are openly breaking federal immigration law. If you do not comply by this deadline, according to Pam Bondi, she specifically said, we will begin to initiate criminal charges. You will be prosecuted and you will go to jail. You will also lose federal funding. In fact, you may lose all of your federal funding. Michelle Wu gave a speech where she basically told Pam Bondi to go fly a kite, saying, we are not going to relent an inch. Sanctuary city now, sanctuary city forever. In fact, Michelle Wu was the most outspoken of all of the mayors and all of these governors, saying, in fact, openly, come and arrest me. I'm daring you. Come and arrest me. I'm daring you. Cut off all federal funding. Now, my response, arrest her. You break the law, you pay the price. And cut all federal funding to Boston. Let these moonbats finally feel the consequences of their illegal, criminal, and frankly dangerous behavior. But that's me. I want to hear from you. Let's go right back to Larry in Leominster. Larry, you are on fire. Please pick up where you left off.
Jeff, are you familiar with the Florida sheriff? I think it's Broward County, but I think his name is Grady. Sheriff Grady?
Yes.
He's great for these press conferences where he will show pictures like the mugshot of the person and thoroughly explain why they were arrested. What I think they need to do, let's start with Wu. Get a picture, get a collage of all the criminal illegal aliens we've yanked out of Boston, the rapists, the murderers, all that stuff. Have that on display behind Holman, Bondi, whoever. And go through and explain how each one of them were protected by Wu and kept being allowed to do their crimes in Boston by her. And then let them see if she's a martyr.
I love it. Larry, I love it. Larry, let me ask you, okay, I agree with you. She should be arrested. I love the strategy you're laying out. But let me just play devil's advocate. Well, Pam Bondi's not going to arrest anybody. She doesn't have, frankly, the guts to do it, the spine to do it. She doesn't want to turn anybody into a martyr. But she could be persuaded to cut federal funding. Why is she so afraid? Forget arresting for a second. Just cut off all federal funding. If they run out of money for schools and roads and the fire department and the police department and hospitals and healthcare, they're going to turn on her and say it's because you're coddling these criminal illegals. Her own constituents, her own residents will. Why is Bondi so afraid to cut off federal funding? I mean, do you have a theory on this, Larry?
Trust me, I'm not defending anybody, especially not her, until, show me some proof that you deserve this job, and I'll start buying your, what you're doing. What will happen? Cut off the funding. What's going to happen within 24 hours? Some liberal federal judge that they judge shop for, we'll call that unconstitutional for whatever reason, and say you can't do this. And then we have to appeal, and then appeal again. That's the theory I have. I'm not 100%, but, every time they've tried to cut off funding, do that, all within the law, they have the legal right to, some activist judge puts a kibosh on it. Now, the Supreme Court did say you can't do these universal injunctions, but an activist judge could say that's illegal for Boston, and it wouldn't be defying SCOTUS. It'd still be wrong. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be defying SCOTUS saying you cannot do these national injunctions. That's all I can come up with.
No, I agree. I think maybe that's what her lawyers or her aides are whispering in her ear. Don't do it because they'll block it. Some judge will block it. My counter rebuttal, I think it's a great point, Larry. I do. I think you're making an excellent point. My counter to that is, well, okay, then we'll just appeal. I don't care. Put it on the fast track to the Supreme Court. And the court will rule again 6-3 in the administration's favor. So, okay, you don't cut federal funding, say, today. You'll cut it in 3 months after the Supreme Court rules. But at least do something. Instead, she's just so passive. And Larry, to me, it's not just that she's passive, which is very bad, but she threatens publicly going on media interviews, in letters, and giving deadlines. And then it's like a red line. She keeps drawing a red line. They just keep walking over it. Like, okay, like, go ahead. Like sticking their chin out. Like, come on, like, nah, I dare you. Come on, punch me in the face. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. And I'm warning you. After a while, nobody takes you seriously. And I think that's what's starting to happen to her, to Pam Bondi. So, no, these Democrats are thugs, and they need to be treated like thugs. Larry, as always, outstanding call. 617. It's just my opinion. You may agree, you may disagree. I want to hear from you, Kuhner Country. 617-266-6868. Caspar in Belmont. Thanks for holding, Caspar, and welcome.
To Jeff, good morning.
Hi.
My point, it's funny if you stay on hold too long, you end up with several points. But my primary point in the beginning was she had an illegal right next to her with this fake, forced Boston accent. I am originally a Southie boy, and I hear people fake these accents. Ed Markey has put on his taxes. His primary residence is not Massachusetts. I want a ruling from the Supreme Court that says he can't be my senator anymore. He's illegal. He's an illegal citizen as a senator. He should just go down there and run down there. Just like Adam Schiff said, his primary residence was Maryland. Why is he a congressman or now a senator from California? It makes no sense. They're illegals. They're the definition of illegal. And the further point is, every time I hear this, and you're talking about funding, the Third Amendment, what does it say? We're not supposed to quarter soldiers. These people are tourists and soldiers.
Oh, brilliant point. Oh, Caspar, Mike, 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, radical left Boston mayor, Marxist Michelle Wu, now has literally thrown down the public gauntlet at a speech yesterday. She is now defying federal immigration law and daring AG Pam Bondi to arrest her or to cut federal funding to the city of Boston, saying she will not hand over a single illegal alien, no matter how criminal they are, how violent they are, whether they're convicted of murder, rape, child assaulting or molesting children, you name it, that ICE is not allowed to operate in the city of Boston. She will not cooperate with ICE. And if Pam Bondi wants to arrest her, she said, come and get her. She also said that she is invoking the American Revolution, that this is what George Washington would do, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, all of our founding fathers, that the Revolution and the 1776 Patriots fought our war for independence, I swear to you, to defend the rights of criminals and illegal aliens. As I said this morning, earlier, and on X yesterday, she is a communist lunatic. The woman is stone cold crazy. And we have her as the mayor of Boston, the biggest, most important city in all of New England. May God help us. All right, let's go right back to Caspar in Belmont. Caspar, you were making absolutely superb points, and you were talking about the Third Amendment. Please pick up where you left off.
If you just look back at history, first they were upset about the taxes, and they said, I guess we can deal with that somehow. But when the king says, I'm going to put these people in your home, you got to feed them, you got to bed them, you got to pay for it. That's exactly what we're doing with these people. We're bedding them, we're feeding them, and we're taking care of them. They're soldiers for a political party. This is the case I would make to the Supreme Court. I would say absolutely not. I wouldn't cut it completely, but I would right away cut all funding 50%. 50%, and then when the people start complaining and all the legal people that have come here say, hey, what happened to my money? Well, it's because of them. Because that's what happens in this area. They say, I don't want these other people here. They're taking money away from my kids. And it's the Third Amendment that I would be standing on every day of the week on this. And, you know, and that's what Pam Bondi should be saying. This is a constitutional issue here. It just has to stop. It just has to stop. And like I said, Markey's not even a citizen of this state. And he's standing right next to her, and nobody calls him out on it. I can't believe it. I'm not even sure. Michelle Wu's not even from here. Senator Warren's not from here. We're busing them in, making them senators, mayors, congressmen. For what? For what? So that they can give our money to other people. I want to take care of my own. That's what I want to do. If you want to pay for people in Mexico, Guatemala, India, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. The ones that come here legally, I don't have a problem with immigration. These people are not doing that. They're coming in the back door, they're cutting in front of people, and they're taking our money. And they should be redefined either as a tourist or as a soldier. And why am I paying for somebody's hotel stay for a nice vacation to America? Where is the sense in that?
Kaspar, I want to get your take, because you're obviously a highly intelligent man and very perceptive, that because this is getting a lot of play in the national media against Wu. This is the real blowback. She's a racist. There's no question she's a racist. But this time I think she didn't expect this one coming, that they rolled out, and she approved it. She authorized this, that they rolled out this mariachi band and had these people, in sombreros and singing in Spanish before she spoke. And, and she's there to speak on behalf of illegal aliens, to protect them, to defend them, to coddle them, to shield them, to defend their rights. What do you make of that? Was this racist on her part? In other words, what? All illegals are from Latin America? All illegals, what? They're all from Mexico? Like we don't have illegals from other countries all over the world? And B, why would she do that? Is she just trying to cater to the illegal population? Does she think there are so many illegals who speak Spanish that if she can throw a mariachi band in front of them, that somehow they'll vote for her? What do you make of that cheap, crass publicity stunt that she did yesterday?
When you stick a sombrero on somebody, I find it to be racist. If I was from South America, I'd say, what kind of a racist thing is that? You think we all walk around in sombreros? Fine, you want to play the music? That's okay. I mean, I'm Armenian. Yeah, we sing the national anthem, we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we also do the Armenian anthem. And if they want to do the Mexican anthem, as long as they pledge allegiance to America and they sing the national anthem of America, the United States, I could be okay with that. That's not what she's doing. She's selecting a particular voting class that she feels, these people will always vote for me. You talk to some of these other illegals, they're not necessarily Democrat. They came here because they want to make money, and they're basically conservative. She's actually being racist and saying, these people are lazy, and they just want a free handout, and that's why they're going to vote for me. I would be really insulted if I was from south of the border. I would be really insulted, and I would say, it's so bad, I would say she needs to be thrown out of office based on it. That's how prejudiced I think it is.
Interesting. Kaspar, outstanding call. Thank you very much for that call. 617-266-6868 is the number. Mike, do me a favor. Come on. It's Mariachi Wednesday. For Mariachi Michelle, play it again. So this is what they rolled out. This little mariachi band, all wearing the sombreros. And there's Markey. They were all there. And they're laughing and they're having a great time. This is just before Michelle Wu spoke. Roll cut 6. Mike.
Pastoreaba de vuelta, pues el sol se está ocultando, va subiendo por la cuesta.
Yeah, it just, it really feels like America, If you don't have the mariachi band, it's just not Boston. You know what I mean? It just, when I think Boston, I think mariachi band. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, you can text the Kuhner Man, 70470. This is from 603. Jeff, Michelle Wu is correct. Boston has always been a city of revolution, but the question is this: whose revolution is she talking about? I would have to say that President Trump's actions and motivations more closely reflect those of our American revolutionaries like George Washington, John Adams, James Madison, where Michelle Wu's actions and motivations, I would say, more closely reflect those of the revolutionary Chinese communist leader, Mao Zedong. So my question to you, Jeff, is, can we please start calling this mayor of Boston Mayor Wu Zedong? I got to say 603. It's very funny you should mention that. When I did a rally a couple of months ago, this was right up on Beacon Hill, right in front of the state legislature. It was, I believe, on a Thursday. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was on a weekday. No question, it was a weekday. And it was at about noonish. And so anyway, I had a hard time. Long story short, I had to get there after the show. I had a very hard time to find parking. So anyway, I couldn't park in the garage underneath Boston Common. Apparently, they figured out who I was and they denied me to go into the garage. So they were harassing me. Okay, Mayor Wu was harassing me. So I ended up finding parking maybe about a half mile away. When I parked my car and I started to walk, through parts of the city to get to Boston Common, there was a part there that, I don't know if it's technically Chinatown, don't quote me on this, but it certainly seemed like it was Chinatown. It had a very heavy Asian American population, okay? Very heavily Asian. Now, why am I saying this? What struck me, God is my witness, is as I'm walking through the streets, I start to notice, the portrait that you see in China of the face of Mao, and with a military style cap with the red communist symbol on the cap, or they have that with now Xi Jinping. In other words, these kind of Chinese style portraits, and they put a picture of the current dear leader, right? The current communist leader. That's what I saw of Michelle Wu. And it was not just one. It was picture after picture after picture, where it's her face, almost like she's the dear leader, in a Chinese-style portrait, a Chinese communist-style portrait. And they have, and some are smaller pictures or portraits, some are of her, but bigger portraits. But you can't miss it. It's everywhere. And I'm like, am I in communist China? I'm sorry. Am I in the birthplace of the American Revolution? Am I in the cradle of American liberty and American freedom? Or am I in Beijing or Shanghai? I'm not. It was not just weird and bizarre. Honestly, there was almost something menacing about it. It was creepy. It was extremely off-putting. I almost felt sick to my stomach. And they're deifying her. They're deifying her. In some parts of the city, it's like she's a political god, or in this case, goddess. She's a political goddess. And it's like she's now the chairman or the chairwoman of the Politburo. And she's running Boston like it's a little, Chinese communist authoritarian state. She's running it like it's a Chinese, it's like a Chinese communist little protectorate with an iron fist. And now she's telling the federal government, no, your writ, your law, your jurisdiction does not reach into Boston. No, we will defy you. I don't answer to you. People answer to me. 617-266-6868. I just want to read one more, and this is from a former police officer, a dear friend of mine. He was shot in the line of duty, in fact, badly shot and wounded in the line of duty, and so he could no longer be a police officer. But he knows his law enforcement like the back of his hand, especially in the greater Boston area. Good morning, Jeff. Well, good morning to you, my friend. I am surprised no one has brought this point up yet on your show. What the hell was former Boston Police Department Police Commissioner Ed Davis doing standing behind Mayor Wu in yesterday's press conference? It goes to show you how these leaders will sell their souls to get permits and or permission to operate in Boston. Is Michelle Wu now the new king or queen of Boston? And then he goes on to add, these commie mayors use their power to indoctrinate the police agencies and keep the chiefs of police under their rule. Well, I have news for them. They are not kings and queens. I'm with you. But they act like they're kings and queens. And they think, basically, no, we run this state. We run this city. We don't care who Trump. You think Trump runs this country? No, we run this country. I don't care what the voters elected you to do. I don't care how many illegals they told you to deport. You're not going to touch one. You understand? You're not going to touch one in mass or in the city of Boston. 617-266-6868. Tim in South Dennis. Thanks for holding, Tim, and welcome.
Jeff, my friend, I love you in a non-sexual manner.
Thank you, Tim. My friend, and again, thank you for your service. You know how much I love you vets. Tim, buddy, what do you make of all this?
First of all, what's surprising to me, here's Michelle Wu, married to a white man, has children with a white man, but she's an anti-white bigot. It would be as ridiculous as me either putting on a swastika and yelling Heil Hitler or a white sheet and then going home to a black or a Latino or Asian wife every day. I mean, but the bigger thing is, anybody out there who's a veteran, I know there's lots of them, Larry and Lemonster, I think CJ, we take the oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and contrary to what people like Michelle Wu and the rest of those morons might believe, that oath really has no expiration date. And I'm sure the 1,354,000 people have died for this country since 1775 would probably agree with that. So I just don't understand why, when I heard part of her speech where she said something about I'm supported by the police and veterans. I was like, really? It's like you've got almost 600 sleeping right near your office, but you put all the illegals in 5-star housing and hotels, and to them you gave them the big middle finger and said, blank you. So I don't know what veteran would be for her, especially ones that have fought communism, whether in Vietnam, Korea, anywhere after that, or Marxist, Islamist, terrorist fanatics. I mean, I can't imagine they would agree with what she's spitting out there.
Well, Tim, let me ask you, as a veteran, as someone who, look, you put your life on the line for our country. That's what you signed up for. To die for me, for everyone in this audience, for everyone living in the United States, for our freedoms and our liberties. So I've got to ask you this. According to Michelle Wu, I can play the cut again. I mean, it's making frankly, international news. She invoked George Washington. She's invoking the American Revolution. According to her, Boston is rising again, the way we rose in 1775. And she says that the revolutionaries of 1776, the Patriots, and all these veterans that have come after have fought and died for the rights of illegal aliens and the rights of criminals. That this is what the revolution was about. This is what Boston is about. And this is what George Washington and our founding fathers were about. I got to ask you. I mean, I said on X, I said, this woman is stone cold crazy. I'm telling you, she's a lunatic. She is a Marxist, communist lunatic. There's no question. You give a speech like this, to me, you got to be institutionalized. I don't know what planet you're living on. I mean, this is not even close. So clearly, anybody knows, 5 words about the revolution of 1776. And it was about no taxation without representation. It was about all the violations of the rights of the colonists by King George III, one outrage after another. Kaspar made a very good point. They were even quartering troops in the homes of the colonists. I mean, I could go on. It was one abuse after another. They fought for our God-given rights. That's why we fought a revolutionary war. We didn't fight for illegals to come into our country and give them welfare. We didn't fight to protect literally murderers and rapists and child molesters and drug dealers and human traffickers and gangbangers, and not have them given over to ICE so they can be deported once they serve their sentences. Like this woman I don't even think in China under Mao they pushed this kind of garbage. Okay, that's how sick and twisted this woman is. I believe she's a psychopath. You want my honest opinion? I think there's something seriously mentally wrong with this woman. You can see it on her. Okay, but that's me. But I'm asking you, as a veteran, what's your answer to Michelle Wu? She says, look, you put on the uniform for illegals. That's what you put on. You put on the uniform to coddle criminals. And that's what this whole country was founded on. What say you?
Michelle Wu is full of Bravo Sierra. I think she is. She's either been doing too much of the wacky weed and or she's crazy. And I just want to throw something out there real fast really fast. This coming Tuesday, it's the 4th anniversary of Abbey Gate, that devastating bombing. My better half and I are we organized a stand out in South Dennis from 5 to 7. And I urge everyone out there, if there's something going on in your area, please attend it. If not, organize something. I'm sure those people didn't die for illegal aliens, and I'm damn sure that you will not see Michelle Wu, Maura Healey, any of those moonbats that were on stage with her yesterday doing anything to honor the fallen from that or any other time. But, as far as she's concerned, she probably figures that we're all like, who was it, Joseph Stalin, that said we were like useful idiots, or was that Hitler?
No, that was Lenin. No, that was Lenin. Lenin came up with you're close. Lenin came up with the useful idiots. Tim, thank you again for your service, and truly, God bless you and your family. God bless your wife. 617-266-6868. Okay, I don't want to squeeze Bob in. I'm going to hold. I promise I'm going to take more calls. Okay, let me just quickly set the table. Michelle Wu now is leading Blue Cities. She's now become their de facto leader. They now look to her. In fact, yesterday, the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of New York, the mayor of San Francisco, as I like to call it, the mayor of San Francisco, all of them said, you want our response to Pam Bondi's deadline to comply with federal immigration law? Mayor Michelle Wu gave our answer for us. So she's now speaking not just for Boston. She claims, and other sanctuary city mayors are saying, she's speaking for them as well. And her answer is, come and arrest us. Okay, let me ask all of you, Kuhner Country, I'd like as many of you to weigh in as possible. It is the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, du jour, as the French would say, sponsored by Mario's. Mario's Quality Roofing, Siding, and Windows. When it comes to sanctuary cities, is the Trump administration toothless. And really, when I mean the Trump administration, I'm not talking Tom Homan, obviously. So when it comes to sanctuary cities, Pam Bondi, really, it's the DOJ, the Department of Justice. So when it comes to sanctuary cities, is the Trump administration, wink, wink, Attorney General Pam Bondi, toothless? A, yes. B, no. You can vote on our webpage, wrko.com/Kuhner, wrko.com/Kuhner, KUHN as in national ER. You can also vote via X. My handle on X is all one word, at the Kuhner Report, at the Kuhner Report. KUHN is in national ER. Again, when it comes to sanctuary cities, is the Trump administration toothless? A, yes. B, no. You know where I stand? I'm an A on this, a yes all the way. I'm not saying they're not deporting people. Of course they are. But that's Homan. I'm looking for action against the mayors and federal funding. I'm looking to set, and make an example out of some of these mayors. If you say you're going to arrest them, arrest them. If you say you're going to cut their funding, cut their funding. But that's me. I want to hear from you. 617-266-6868 is the number. Bob in Plymouth. Thanks for holding, Bob, and welcome.
Thank you, Jeff, for taking my call as usual.
Well, my pleasure, Bob.
I can't imagine a more damning speech that either somebody wrote for her or in her drug-addled whatever last night before. I suspect Josh Kraft wrote that speech.
I'm sorry, Bob, can you repeat that last line?
I suspect that Josh Kraft wrote that speech.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, in other words, well, I got to tell you, he's going to get a big bounce in the polls after yesterday's speech. I agree with you. All she did now was give Josh Kraft a chance or a shot at beating her. I don't think he will, by the way. I think she's got a stranglehold on the nomination, and I think she has the stranglehold on the voting machines, and she's got a stranglehold on the electorate in Boston. The illegals love her. The welfare deadbeats love her. You can just tell the powerful special interests, they love her. The Democratic machine, she's their gal. And to me, if you like living in a third world hellhole, okay, I don't know what else to tell you. But Bob, every time I go into Boston, I swear to you, every time, if it's possible, it gets worse. It gets a little dirtier, a little more violent, a little more unsafe. It's just, I could go on and on. It gets a little poorer. I mean, there are now genuine slums in Boston. I know, I walk through them. There are slums in Boston. Economically, the city is not doing well. This state, by the way, is not doing well. I've got some stunning numbers for everybody. I'm going to give them to you. Compared to the rest of the country, Massachusetts is almost dead last. Boston is almost dead last. I don't know what this idiot yesterday, that woman, is talking about, how we're the safest city and the best city and the most prosperous city. Like, you want to talk about living in someone's mind. That's maybe in her fantasy mind, but that's not reality. Bob, anyway, please, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I just I couldn't agree with you more with what's going on, and I don't go there anymore, especially at night. I would never go there at night anymore because in the past, years ago, I had a couple of run-ins there, dangerous run-ins there, being threatened by these two guys one time. It's no more, not for me.
Well, and that's what's happening, Bob. A lot of people are saying, just like you, either I don't go in or I minimize the number of times I go in. Like, the less the better. Only if I really have to, is what many people tell me. And it's exactly because of what you're talking about. And Bob, thank you very much for that call. Here, look, just last Saturday, this was in Dorchester, okay? I don't want to make it too local here, but just last Saturday in Dorchester, a man in his 50s, doing nothing wrong, was at a grocery store, Stop and Shop. For people who listen outside the state, we have a lot of listeners. It's a, big grocery, a supermarket, a grocery store. And he was, in Stop and Shop, got stabbed repeatedly for no reason. Literally, just got stabbed. And you had witnesses who saw it and did nothing. Literally did nothing. Because they're afraid that they're going to get stabbed as well. And also because residents are becoming so numb to this massive crime wave that you see taking hold all over Boston. Now, you want to talk about the economic numbers. I want you to listen to this. You want to see how badly mismanaged this state has now become? According to the latest survey from January 2023 to June 2025, those are the latest numbers, okay, a couple months ago. The job growth rate, comparing state to state, Florida has the highest rate of job growth, 4.4%. Texas comes next at 3.8%. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, just very, very quickly, when I say Boston is dying, Massachusetts is dying economically, that's not, again, for dramatic effect. That's literally what's happening. So the latest numbers are out from January 2023 to June 2025, the end of June, which is the latest you can get economic figures on. This is now the growth rate of states across the country. I'm not going to give you all 50, obviously, in terms of jobs, creating jobs, new jobs. Florida, the red states are leading the pack. Florida, 4.4%, which is very good. Texas, 3.8%, almost 4%, very good. Then you start going into 3.8, 3.2%. That's where you get states like New York, like Pennsylvania. Then you start getting into the twos. And when you get into the twos, that's Connecticut. Connecticut is at 2.2%. Even Rhode Island, I'm not kidding, even Rhode Island is doing better than Massachusetts. They're at about 2%. New Hampshire is at 2%. California, which is bleeding jobs and bleeding taxpayers who are fleeing the state, 1.4% was the job rate in California. Okay, the rate of job growth. Job growth in California, still meager, anemic, but they're still getting 1.4%. Do you know where Massachusetts is? Listen to this. 0.5%. 0.5%. And in Boston, which is supposed to be the engine of Massachusetts, and really, as I said, the biggest city in New England, the hub of New England, it's even lower there than 0.5%. It's one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in the entire country. In fact, if you want, I'll give you one more statistic. Last one. I don't want to just keep giving statistics. Under Michelle Wu and Governor Healy, okay, under Hold It Healy and Mariachi Michelle, okay, Marxist Michelle, Boston and Massachusetts have now lost 17,000 jobs this year. Good paying jobs out. These are tech jobs, healthcare jobs, pharmaceutical jobs. We're contracting. So it's not even, oh my God, Jeff, we're flat. We're not growing. No, forget not growing. We're now losing jobs. Almost 20,000 jobs. We are now in a deficit. The state is dying. Businesses are fleeing. Taxpayers are fleeing. The middle class is fleeing. Now, it's for many reasons. It's not just, one issue like crime or illegal aliens coming in, illegal immigration. But it's a big reason. Taxes are way too high. Regulations are way too high. Energy costs are exploding because Healy now has us on a Green New Deal whereby literally every 6 months, the cost of energy is going to continue to go up. Oil, gas, coal, electricity. It goes up every 6 months automatically. It's to try to force us to convert to solar and wind, which is extremely expensive and very inefficient. So, but I want to just stick to crime and illegal immigration. So when Michelle Wu comes out yesterday and says we have the safest, best, most prosperous city in America, you're on drugs, lady. You're either deliberately lying and misleading the people, or you're you're crazy. You're nutty as a fruitcake. And then on top of all this, here, you got to hear it for yourself. Because I'm telling you, you're not going to believe me. She's ripping into Pam Bondi. So she's openly now saying, no, we're not going to end our sanctuary policies. You want to arrest me? I dare you. You want to cut funding? I dare you. Okay, so she's not, but she goes even further. Listen to this, like a child. Like, what are we, back in kindergarten? Now, just to set this up, remember, she's the daughter of immigrants from Taiwan. Not that I care that look, I'm an immigrant to this country. I'm a naturalized American. So who am I to talk? What I'm saying is, I don't care that she's the daughter of immigrants who came from Taiwan, but she's making a big deal now about her pedigree. This is Michelle Wu now saying, whoa, no, my pedigree is much longer and better than yours. So she starts to attack Pam Bondi, who's from Florida. Listen to this. Boston started the American Revolution. Where was Florida? Boston started all these public schools 100 years before Florida. Boston had public parks 100 years before Florida. And basically saying, who is Pam Bondi to lecture me about enforcing the law and not being a sanctuary city because my city, i.e. me, we've been around a hell of a lot longer than Pam Bondi and Florida. Here it is. Roll cut 4, Mike.
Attorney General Bondi, we are gathered here today to show you who we are in Boston. More than 100 years before your home state was founded, Bostonians were across the street in Faneuil Hall setting the foundation for our democracy and rule of law. 100 years before that, Bostonians were founding the first public school and public park in the country.
Okay, number one, she's so stupid and ignorant, and so is that crowd. She's talking about 1775, Faneuil Hall. They weren't setting the foundation for our democracy. We're not a democracy. For the 1 millionth time, we're a republic. Like, hello? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, don't you know that? I mean, I don't know. You're the one that is, claiming your pedigree now goes back hundreds of years. You're now Miss Americana. So, no, you don't even know that? They fought for a republic. They created a constitutional republic that has democratic elements to it, yes, but it's a republic. It's not a democracy. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, really, like, what are we, on the playground now? What is this, grade 1? My state, my city was in America before 100 years before yours. Yeah, you take that, Pam. Yeah, we were fighting the revolution before Florida was even a state. Yeah. Who cares? Well, what does this have to do with the issue at hand? everything that came out of her mouth was a pile of crap. I'm sorry. But that's what it was. She's going on about bashing Trump. Well, who cares what you think about Trump? Bashing the price of groceries. Who cares? Going on about the economy's not as it should be. What does this have to do with you being a sanctuary city? Or the fact that Florida was admitted as a state much later than Massachusetts? Who cares? What does this have to do with you breaking the law? So, okay, so we had public parks. Okay, yes. No, we had public parks and schools 150 or 200 years before Florida became a state. Okay, bravo. What does this have to do with you coddling criminals and gangbangers? Like, I'm sorry. Nothing computes. Now, look, I'm sorry, since you opened the door. This is you. Okay, you're the one that made the issue out of it. I wouldn't play the ancestry pedigree game if I were Michelle Wu. Okay? I just would. Yes, her parents are from Taiwan, but they're ethnically Chinese. And no one is a bigger shill. Okay, Dr. Grace is she's warming up in the bullpen. We're going to have her on at 9 o'clock. But before that, obviously, I want to take as many calls as possible. Kenny in Weston. Thanks for holding, Kenny, and welcome. I think, is Kenny listening to music or... All right. Arthur in Chestnut Hill. Thanks for holding, Arthur, and welcome.
Thanks, Jeff. I think she would have been better served with Aerosmith instead of that mariachi band with that outstanding lead singer. But I don't want you to think that Michelle Wu is a racist just because she had, in 2023, as you recall, she had that Christmas party for non-white. Excuse me, for elected of color only. Were invited to that party, as you remember that, but that didn't seem to bother her. I guess her husband couldn't attend. But you know something, Jeff? When I came to America in Boston in 1950, it was a city of diversity. All we had, every neighborhood was of all one group of people: Irish, Italian, Jewish. There was a black neighborhood. There were Polish neighborhoods. And everybody liked that way. But the difference between that diversity and the new diversity, where we were all American and wanted to be American and came to America to contribute to America. And back then, we could go out and we didn't have to lock our doors. Everybody was safe. I was 5, 6 years old and went out by myself on Halloween. You think you can do that today?
Absolutely not. No way. No way.
And by the way, Boston is running a big deficit just because of the mismanagement. And you know what? We don't. When you come to Boston today, it's an obstacle course. You know, the only people that have it good are bikers. If you drive in Boston, it's impossible. If you park in Boston, you've got to park in the middle of the street. So there's a nice lane for bikers, which is one of Josh Kraft's biggest political points that he's running on. She is despicable. She's one of the worst people, but she's trying to get attention like that nitwit senator in California when he got arrested by Home Services when he tried to crash a gnome.
Yeah, Padilla. Padilla. Yeah, Senator Padilla.
I mean, she addresses the people who support her, and those people are not American anymore because they've destroyed our cities. We don't have American mayors who run on American principles anymore. Look at every major city. It's a disgrace. And if that Somalian gets elected in Minnesota, God forbid what Minnesota's going to become like. You know, what Trump is doing in Washington is working 100%. And I called for this in Chicago years ago because what was going on in Chicago and all the cities with all the gangs and the crime. And don't forget, the worst crime is black on black. Black on white's bad enough, and minority on white is bad. But it's black on black that's the worst crime. Those people live in the biggest fear in these cities. And because he's become so successful in Washington, he wants to go to Chicago next. And that's the worst thing that these people, these Democrat leaders fear, because that's going to show exactly what their policies have done to this country and to the poor people. And that's why the support that the Republican Party got from the black population before and the minority, it's even going to increase after he starts cleaning up these cities because they refuse to do so.
Arthur, let me ask you, do you think Pam Bondi is going to arrest Michelle Wu or at least cut off the funding to Boston? Because that was the letter, that was the threat that she sent out a week ago. And Wu yesterday basically told her to blank off, saying, okay, if you want to arrest me, come and get me. You know where I am. Does Bondi have what it takes to follow through on her threat now to start arresting the sanctuary city mayors?
You know what? I'm probably like the rest of your audience. I'm tired of threats. I want to see what they did to those innocent people before. Come in with 30 FBI agents and SWAT teams at 4:30 in the morning and bring her out in her pajamas and house coat like they did to innocent people, never mind criminals like her. Because when you protect criminals, you're a criminal. That's called aiding and abetting. And you know what? I have never seen more disgusting, heinous crimes. When you're raping over and over innocent young children, that's who they're protecting. That's the worst of it. And it's all over the country. All over the country. That's who they're going after first. That's who they were always going after first. But you know what? If we had an honest media, and forget that fake media name, that's baloney. An honest media. These people should lose their licenses. They should be thrown out, and they need to be replaced by people who will report the truth, because that's what their job is. You know, you would think that nothing is going right with Trump and his policies to hear the local news or the evening news on the regular networks. Only on Newswhack, which is 100% the best, and half of Fox. That's it. That's the only place you can get honest, the real news. And other than that, it's people like yourself who give us a voice. But other than that, it doesn't get out there. And if people don't know about it, they can't do anything about it.
Arthur, as always, thank you very much for that call. Very well said. Visal, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, in Florida. Thanks for holding, Visal, and welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Look, I used to live in Lowell, Massachusetts since 1989 when I first came to the United States. But I'm starting sick of see how minority live in Massachusetts, and they keep spreading the toxic west about minority, vote for minority. Whoever run for city councilor, for city mayor, they all preach each other spread word about voting for minority. I'm so sick of that. That is not American. American is about voting for the right person, that principles and constitutions and all that stuff. I'm not an educated person, but where I come from, I see all that stuff in what happened in the United States. That is just disgusts me. So what Michelle was doing, I remember, Jeff, this is what happened in Texas. I don't know what years that are, early 2000 or 90, that when religious clan that didn't cooperate with the FBI, and then FBI used a tank and take over and burn the whole building, shoot that.
Yeah, that was Waco. Yeah, that was Waco, Texas. Yeah, you're completely right, Visal. Continue.
Yeah, that's what they should do for people that uncorporate or against federal law, like Michelle Wu. Just go get her like with FBI in 1 o'clock in the morning and just pick up all these people off the street and just be a lesson, because this is disgusting. Where these people are coming from now. They're standing for socialists or communists, whatever, and they all team up on white people, on American people that love American people that respect the Constitution. For me, I'm really respect Constitution and American. I'm very proud to be in United States, and I just see these people that run every time they run for city councilor. You know, see how Cambodian in city law now, like 4 or 5 of them now, because they all vote for them. All white people move out, everybody move out. So now all these Hispanics and minority people, they all vote each other, and then now they get toxic spread everywhere.
Oh, you're right. Look, Visal, you're truly right. Look, to me, what I love about this country, and what is to me the essence of America, and I think the greatness of America, it's, merit. You vote for someone who's the best person for the job, period. Doesn't matter their race, their color, their skin color, their religion, their whatever, men, women, old, young. To me, that doesn't matter. White, not white. To me, I always vote best person for the job. Period. Who has the best character? Who has the best policies? What is their program? How are they going to make life better for everybody? Are they going to respect and uphold the Constitution, obviously, and respect our basic freedoms and rights? But to me, that's what you vote on. You don't vote for someone because of their gender or their race or their skin color or their religion or their sexual orientation, or that's a man or it's a woman. To me, that's the most un-American thing you can do. And that's the problem now, is that the Democratic Party, it's called identity politics. The Democrats are obsessed with identity politics. And now they have literally put a communist lunatic in City Hall. And now she's openly flouting the law. I've never seen, it's remarkable. She's bragging. She's a hero. She thinks she's a hero for breaking the law. And so, look, either Pam Bondi is going to put her in her place, or Pam Bondi has to go. It's either door 1 or door 2. And if I'm Pam Bondi, I'd put her in her place. Because I'm telling you, the American people are not going to put up with this much longer. Visal, as always, thank you very much for that call. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's go. We've got her. Dr. Grace putting liberals in their place. Grace Vuoto. Full disclosure, she's not just a brilliant commentator and a former nationally syndicated talk show host, but she is, of course, my better half, my wonderful wife. Grace, I've got to ask you, everybody's talking about it. It's the biggest story in the country. Michelle Wu is now daring Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, to arrest her and to cut off all federal funding, saying she will never renege on the sanctuary policies of Boston. She will defend illegal aliens. She even invoked the American Revolution, saying she is akin to George Washington. Washington fought a revolution for illegals and criminals. She stands on the shoulders of Washington. What say you?
Well, she doesn't represent me, and she doesn't represent you. She doesn't represent Kuhner country. She doesn't represent at least 40% of the state who, vociferously disagree with her. And I really would like to see Pam Doorknob arrest her and make an example of her. And it is time to bring an end to this policy of sanctuary cities, which is insane. It is insane. I mean, how can we have local governments behaving and acting in direct defiance of federal law? It is completely unacceptable, and it's astonishing that it's gone on for as long as it has. There's only one person who has the guts to bring an end to it, and it's Donald Trump, and he really has to direct Pam Doorknob to do her job effectively.
Grace, you've got Michelle Wu, You've got Eric Adams in New York. You've got Brandon Johnson in Chicago. You've got Karen Bass in L.A. You've got Newsom in California, Pritzker in Illinois. You've got Governor Bob Ferguson in Washington State. They have now come out almost like a united front, really. Wu is their spokesperson for now. They all said she's speaking on our behalf, but they've come out with a united front saying you can huff and puff all you want. We are not going to cooperate with ICE in any way, shape, or form. And up to and including, I mean, I'm not exaggerating, child molesters, child rapists, child molesters, murderers, gangbangers. You want them, you have to come and get them. We are not going to hand them over. At this point, what should Trump and his administration do? You saw the reception they got in Los Angeles. Riots broke out. I think they fear if they arrest Michelle Wu, there's going to be riots here in Boston. If you were advising the Trump administration, you're now faced with this massive wall of resistance from blue city mayors and governors. What should Trump do to break that wall?
Look, I think that, look at what happened with the Texas showdown. They huffed and they puffed. The legislators walked out, and eventually they were forced to return. So when we stand our ground, it's amazing what happens. And so that's all we need to do. Start by arresting one or two of them, take care of anybody who is disruptive in the process, and let the legal battle play out as well. Because, this is a situation that also has to be resolved definitively legally. In her letter, in Wu's letter, she responds to Pam Bondi. She cites all these legal precedents explaining why local governments have the right to behave in the manner that she has. This has to be also ruled definitively by the Supreme Court. We just need a final ruling on this. You're not allowed to do this, and any mayor who does it will be prosecuted, and any city who does it will lose federal funding. And if we just do it to a couple of the mayors, the situation will be resolved. I think it's another one of those issues where it just takes will, and with that willpower, we will get a resolution, and others will eventually back down. And for the most part, the public will applaud and support it.
Grace, Wu is making a big deal of the fact, Mariachi Michelle is making a big deal of the fact that Boston, she says, is an incredibly safe city. She says it's the safest city in the country. It's the most prosperous city in the country. She says it's the best run city in the country. You get around as you're a real estate agent on, this is what you do as well to make a living. You get around. You know neighborhoods, you know towns, you know cities in this entire state. You go to places, you go to Boston quite often, you're in and out of Boston. Is Boston the safest, best, most prosperous city, big city in the country?
Jeff, she's being preposterous, and what I challenge her to do is take your cell phone with you and activate your video and walk around at 12:30 in the evening around Boston, and then let me know what happens to you. That's what we recommend to Michelle Wu. Go to every neighborhood in Boston and then give us a report in the morning if you survive that many hours. This is ridiculous. And there is no question that Massachusetts is a glorious state, and the city of Boston is a phenomenal city. We have the best of everything here. And this is a treasure that has to be protected. This is not something we're just going to squander to anybody and everybody who wants to come here and do whatever they want here. In that letter, she literally writes at the end of it that the city is, quote unquote, a beacon of freedom and a home for everyone. Can you believe that? A home for everyone. No, it's not a home for everyone. It's a home for the legal residents of this country and the legal residents of the city. Why is that so hard to understand? And unless we get tough on this, we're going to lose what I think is a national treasure. The city and the state are, in my view, amongst the most glorious aspects of this country. I love Massachusetts, as you know. I love everything about it. And I do not want everything that we hold dear in this state and in the city to slowly deteriorate. Because that's what we see happens when we don't enforce basic laws. Over time, it just gets worse and worse, and the best flee. And what we're seeing now is that Massachusetts is among the top 5 states in the United States where people start to leave. And when the best flee, then it becomes a downward spiral. And we don't want that to happen here. This state is too remarkable, and the city is too remarkable for us to just be passive and let that happen. As has happened in Canada, as has happened in Montreal. I mean, you and I saw what happened to the beautiful city of Montreal. It's a shadow of its former self.
Oh, they ran it into the ground. Oh, you're right. No,
due to mismanagement.
Oh, yeah. No, the left ran it into the ground. Grace, I just quickly want to play this cut. She's pretty much now ending her speech yesterday. And, you know, the Ed Markey was there, Marcula, Ice Cream Ed. She had all these former police commissioners. All these moonbats are with her. They're egging her on. And, of course, she's got to give them some anti-Trump red meat. So listen now to what Marxist Michelle had to say yesterday about Trump. Roll cut 5C, Mike.
Under the Trump administration, groceries are less affordable. Housing is harder to build. Cures for cancer are farther away. And good news on our economy has been as hard to find as the Epstein list.
The moonbats like that one. It's as hard to find as the Epstein list. We're so witty. When inflation was over 9% under Biden, she didn't say a word. When there were food shortages under Biden, because of he destroyed the supply chains when he locked the entire country down. She didn't say a word. Housing prices have exploded in the city and in the state. Under her watch, she's done nothing. And this idea cures for cancer are farther away, she's literally making that up. So my question is, here you have this woman trying to blame Trump, yet she's running Boston into the ground. It's much more expensive. It's much less safe. The economy is dying. Taxpayers are fleeing, and she's attacking Trump? Final word to you, Dr. Grace.
Jeff, listen, the cost of living in this state is astronomical. Think about how much an individual or a family household has to make just to have a middle-class standard of living. That's why people are leaving. And where are they leaving? They're leaving to other states, meaning, let's say they're getting monies from this state, or whatever it is, a pension or something that they're collecting. They're better off in a different state. So what does that tell Michelle Wu? She's got to learn to do basic math. The cost of living here is way too high, and that's on local and state regulators and officials. It's not on Donald Trump.
Dr. Grace putting liberals in their place. Grace Voto, as always, dynamite stuff. Grace, thank you very much. We will talk to you again very soon. Again, thank you for calling in today, and we'll have you on, as always, next week. On the Kuhner Report, same time, same place. All right, Grace says Michelle Wu should tend to her own garden. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, just very, very quick, because I want to go to the blazing phone lines. Massachusetts now. Boston is the biggest city, obviously, not just in Massachusetts, but in all of New England. So, Massachusetts... Number one, there's one thing Massachusetts is number one in. And by extension, in comparison to all the other cities in the country, Boston is also number one. And I kid you not, for welfare. No, California, believe it or not, is number two. We actually outdo California. So you want to talk about a culture of poverty. And which state is number one in giving out the total amount of welfare benefits? Numero uno is Massachusetts. Massachusetts welfare spending per person in poverty, $48,000. $48,000. per person. That's 85% more than the national average. 32%. I'm sorry, I don't mean to just keep throwing numbers, but just to show you, 32% of the budget of Massachusetts. Okay, let's not quibble over 1%. 1/3 of the budget of Massachusetts. That's your taxes, my friend. Our taxes. That's what we're paying for. Goes to welfare spending. 1/3 of the entire budget of Massachusetts. And it adds up. I mean, I'm not on welfare. Mike is not on welfare. Sandy's not on welfare. I'm sure most of you are not on welfare. But per capita, per person, that's over $4,500 per person. We are the number one state when it comes to fostering a culture of poverty and a dependency on welfare. Number one state in welfare spending per person in poverty. Average $48,000. That's not counting illegals. Illegals is almost $60,000. So all of you, Bill in Sudbury, I just want you to know how stupid you liberals are. That if you're an American citizen in Massachusetts, you get about $10,000 to $15,000 less in welfare than if you're an illegal. If you're an illegal, it's about $58,000 to $60,000 a year. Okay, I'm talking, the free housing, the free health insurance, the EBT, all the goodies, the rental subsidies. You could just go on, just do the math. It's about $58,000 to $60,000 for illegals. But if you're an American citizen or a legal resident, it's $48,000. So you lose about $10,000 to $12,000 because you're an American citizen. That's Massachusetts for you. Now, I'm telling you, that's why the taxes are so high. That's why the cost of living is so high. That's why our standard of living keeps going down. And I'm telling you, that's why now we're one of the top states in the country for people leaving. Now, California is still numero uno on that. And New York and Illinois and us. That's it. That's the competition. But you continue with Hold It Healy and Mariachi Michelle. And we're going to be number one soon, too. Most people fleeing the state. I mean, per capita. People fleeing the state. Because you're running the city and the state into the ground. Look, I'm going to put it as plainly as I can put it. Michelle Wu is running. This is her platform that she's running on in the election. Okay? This is what these moonbats are going to vote for. A massive increase in taxes. Ban on all fossil fuels. They're going to phase out fossil fuels. Oil, natural gas, gone. SUVs, gone. Gas stoves, gone. Every building will have to be, quote unquote, climate compliant. Meaning they're going to force you to make God knows what kind of repairs on your house that eventually it emits zero carbon. You think the cost of housing is high now? You wait till she's done. Vehicles now going from the city or to the city of Boston, they are going to demand that the government, i.e. the local authorities, surveil your car. You're going to be spied on using government surveillance technology to track how many miles you drive. Now, you're going to say, Jeff, come on now. She released a 62-page climate change Green New Deal handbook. It's all there. Look it up. You'll see what I mean. And by the way, they're not even hiding this. They're proud of it. Now, I'm just giving you a taste. She's Zoran Mamdani in pantsuits. That's it. That's it. So she does the ashes on her forehead on Ash Wednesday. That's what she does. And that's the difference between her and Zoran. He's a Muslim and she does the ashes on the forehead. That's the only difference between the two. Now, look, I don't care for Josh Kraft. I disagree with him on practically every issue. All right, I think the guy's a loony lefty. But even that left-wing lunatic is better than Michelle Wu. You say, well, Jeff, what's the difference? He's not crazy. Is he a moonbat? Yes. Is he a big left-wing Democrat? Yes. But he wouldn't give a speech. I'm telling you, he wouldn't. Because the guy is sane. He wouldn't give a speech saying, the American Revolution was fought to defend illegal aliens. I mean, even he would be like, whoa, no, whoa, hey, whoa. No, that's just not true. Like, whoa. Maybe in Mao's China you believe this, but no, come on, hey. The revolution had nothing to do with illegal aliens, and they certainly weren't big fan of criminals. I want to ask all of you, is it time, finally, for this absolute communist lunatic, this fanatic, to be arrested once and for all? 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, Michelle Wu yesterday said, her words, not mine, Boston will not back down. That's what she said. Boston will not back down. And just all of you, you need to know this. The people that she's protecting, the illegal aliens that she says have a right to be in Boston. And by the way, they're not just, limited to Boston. They are free to roam all over Massachusetts, into Rhode Island, into New Hampshire, all over New England. This is who she's protecting. This is who ICE was asking for. And she made sure that they were not able to get them until ICE had to track them down on the streets after she released them. Again, I want to stress this. These are not just gangbangers, murderers, rapists, drug dealers. They're convicted criminals who are in the jails, in prison, and they're about to, their sentence is about to end. And ICE says, please, can you hold them for us so we can detain them and then deport them? And she refuses to hold them. Her orders are, don't hold them. But now, I'm telling you what's going to bring her down. If she gets arrested, it's going to be because of this. She keeps coddling, and I'm choosing my words now very carefully, sex predators and child rapists and child molesters. In particular, this sick woman is determined to protect, and remember, these are all illegal aliens that I'm going to talk about. In August of 2024, an illegal Haitian national, Corey Bernard Alvarez, was arrested by ICE. Why? Because he allegedly raped a child under the age of 16 at one of Maura Healey's migrant shelters. Wu would not hand him over. Wu did not want ICE to make the arrest, if you can believe it. Now, it wasn't just, so this rapist, a child molester under the age of 16, but it continues. A 10-year-old molested by his neighbor, another illegal alien Haitian migrant. Akim Mark Desiree, 18 years old, was arrested in September on the charge of molesting a 10-year-old and then had to be detained by ICE. Desiree reportedly entered the country by plane in Miami and then saw that it was a sanctuary state, a sanctuary city with the best welfare benefits in the country. Boom, he made a beeline, went straight to Boston. That's who Michelle Wu is protecting. Let me give you another one. This was a child so young that they will not even give out the age. So we're talking about someone under 10 years old. Most likely 4 or 5 years old. okay, but definitely under the age of 10, was apparently, quote unquote, horrifically victimized, repeatedly raped. I don't even want to say the other thing. Okay, raped in multiple ways. Let me just put it to you this way. By an illegal alien, a Guatemalan national, Minor Steven de Paz Munoz. According to Boston ICE Field Office Director Patricia Hyde, this was what she said in her statement at the time of his arrest in 2024. She said, quote, De Paz Munoz represents a significant threat to our neighborhoods, not just in Boston, but even beyond Boston. We owe it to the children of our New England communities to prioritize public safety above everything else. And she said that ICE Boston stands committed to arresting and removing egregious non-citizen, i.e. illegal alien, threats from the community. But they're constantly being blocked by Michelle Wu and by Hold It Healy. One more. In February, this was just, 4 or 5 months ago? Jose Fernando Perez, another illegal immigrant from Guatemala, was arrested in Framingham. For those of you outside of the Massachusetts area, that's a city just west of Boston. He was charged with 3 counts of forcible rape of a child, 3 counts of aggravated rape of a child. He did such disgusting, heinous things to this poor victim, and they believe to other children, that they issued a statement, Boston ICE, saying this is exactly the type of illegal alien we are trying to target. These are the worst first policy. Our worst first policy. The worst of the worst. We just want to get these people out of our communities, out of our cities, out of our country. And they're thunderstruck, saying he didn't just rape a child and other children repeatedly, but that he posed a significant danger to the children of Massachusetts. And yet again, there was a detainer, an immigration detainer, against this rapist, Fernando Perez. Again, an illegal. Michelle Wu, no. Maura Healey, no. We will not comply. You're not going to get him. You go find him. And they only arrested him a year later after he was released. And ICE is saying, we don't know how many other children this man has raped in the greater Boston, Massachusetts area. Then, in September of last year, 3 other illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, were arrested and accused of raping children, minors. One of them, M. Elmer Sola of El Salvador, an illegal alien, faces 11 sexual assault-related counts on molesting and raping a minor. Now, I could go on and on and on and on. He came in through the United States under Biden illegally, and boom, same thing. Went straight to Massachusetts, where he committed, and this is in the words of ICE, and according to Newsweek and numerous other publications, some of the most horrific and despicable crimes against children. And now there's more. I could go on and on and on. In Lawrence, which is just north of Boston, for those of you listening around the country, this was from Ecuador, an illegal, Gilberto Avillara. 20 child sex assault related offenses. He was finally arrested and charged by ICE. Michelle Wu wouldn't deport him. Maura Healey wouldn't deport him. That's who you're defending? That's who you're defending. I'm sorry. My blood is boiling. You sick piece of you-know-what. That's what you are. You're a sick POS. You're sick, lady. You're sick in the head. I've got a 15-year-old boy. I've got a 13-year-old daughter. Her best friend came over to my house yesterday to swim with my Ava. She's 13 years old. Actually, sorry, she's 12 years old. I have kids playing in my house all the time. And you're going to protect these animals? And you're going to tell me that the American Revolution and George Washington fought so that these sick rapists and child molesters can roam our streets? Bob in Malden. Thanks for holding, Bob, and welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Bob?
Very good. I just want to talk about it, about three things real quick. You know those morons that rode in the tunnel on their bikes and everything?
Yes.
Through the tunnels?
Yes.
They arrested one person, a 22-year-old white kid. Why didn't they get them all? Like, no law, no order. They tell you don't do anything. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other thing. I'm at the ATM machine the other day. Kid in front of me, foreigner, whatever. You know, I can tell he's foreigner. And he drops, I see his wallet. He's pulling out his card. You got an EBT card. And then he gets his money, and he throws the slip on the floor. I go, buddy, your slip. He just walked away. I pick it up. He's got over 18 grand in the bank. then yesterday, I'm at the bank, another foreigner in front of me. The guy thanks his slip falls. I go, buddy, your slip's right there. He goes, he just kind of shrugged because he couldn't speak English. He had over 28,000 in the bank. I go, what's wrong? What country are we in here? And then yesterday, I'm in Boston all the time. Woo, she should be in jail for the stuff she does. Homeless veterans everywhere. I'm always over in Boston. You get high off all the weed. They're all smoking, pot everywhere. And the cops go, well, we're told to stand down. They can't do anything. You go ask any of the cities, no one gives anyone any tickets for smoking weed. And that sends a bad message. Now I'm on the train coming home last night. This little kid, about 13 years old, with this little bike that's on the train, he's got a vape in his hand. He's smoking. I go, you're smoking? You know what he says? What the F it is to you. And then he pulls a knife out. I go, what are you going to stab me? Right? And then he leaves the bike in the middle of the train, goes across, and he's staring at me like, I says, listen, I'm from the project, kid. I go, I would never disrespect someone like that. I go, I will say one thing. God loves you. And that's it. That's all I said. But this country's going to hell. I mean, all these, we're turning into a third world country. People go to the food store. I go, how can they buy all that food? They don't just have one EBT card. They got 2 or 3. I go, I don't get it.
Well, that's why we're going bankrupt. No, Bob, you nailed it. Look, this is the call of the show. You absolutely nailed it. And look, just to confirm what you're saying, I go to Boston, I wouldn't say often, but I'm there quite often, I go there quite a bit. Oh my God, you're right. The stench is unbearable. Everybody's smoking weed. You can smell it. It stinks. It's everywhere. I'm seeing all these homeless encampments, people in tents. And you're right now that these criminals are getting younger and younger and younger, 13, 12, 11 years old. And, they're stabbing people, shooting people. And, you just say anything and they want to cut your throat or shoot you dead. And that clown of a mayor is like, we got the safest city in Boston. The safest city in America. Come to Boston. I'm like, yeah, why don't you go out and take a walk? That's what I would tell the mayor. Take a walk. Take a walk. Open your eyes. See what the rest of us see. Bob, thank you very much for that call. I really appreciate it. Pat in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Pat, and welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
I know this is near the end. What people need to do is flood the radio stations, flood calls to the White House, flood social media and Truth Social. This woman is not only aiding and abetting, this is fiscal fraud. This is, how can Pam Bondi not arrest this woman? She is so belligerent. And just the fiscal fraud. I want to know how they get away with it. How do Democrats never go to jail for something a Republican would clearly go to jail for? And
well, Pat, look, just again, piggyback off of what you're saying, giving welfare benefits to illegals, just so that people know, that's illegal. Like, it's done so common now. People don't know. It's like, but no, it's illegal. And they do it in this state. We're the number one state in the country. So that, you talk about fiscal fraud. And because, Pat, the taxpayers, we pay for it. So we're paying for all these freaking illegals. So that's another reason why Pam Bondi should arrest her. Please, last word to you. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, Jeff, if she won't do it, then groups of people have to just flock to her mayor's office and do a citizen's arrest. And guess what? You know what that'll get? That'll get the attention of everyone, because people can still make a citizen's arrest, and that will just destroy Bondi, and then Trump will have to do something, because they are just paralyzed. And you know what? If we know the law better than Pam Bondi, she needs to go. Okay? She doesn't have any balls, and she obviously doesn't have the stomach to do it. All they do is threaten people, get on and talk about, the Epstein files. Guess what? The Epstein files are out there. They're going to be released to Congress, supposedly. So she also lied. She lied. So citizen's arrest has to be done for that.
Look, Pat, I'm with you. Look, Pam Bondi's got to do her job. I mean, now this is where the rubber meets the road.